While Jim heads to the restroom, Arthur and Jim are plotting a romantic proposal. What a show. This is the love story of Jim and Jim, and thus begins the complicated romance of Ryan and Jim. As they are preparing with the rings, Arthur all of a sudden reveals a breathtaking secret. Jim has awakened. "You woke me up." Jim looks utterly confused, as if he wasn't the one behind this plan, but rather had been unexpectedly awakened. Ryan hears this, and it's like a thunderbolt in his heart. He's utterly bewildered. Ryan starts questioning his reality, while Jim is just standing there, totally helpless. Ryan is enraged to the brink of collapse, yet his shouts barely make a ripple in the vast and boundless cosmos. He unleashes a flurry of punches and kicks on the man who ruined his life, but still holds back. Maybe it's his conscience, or perhaps the fear of a lonely future that stops him. Jim confesses through the PA system how deeply he loves Ryan, but it sounds like a one-man show. For Ryan, this entanglement of emotions holds no significance, just as ineffective as his own roars are. It's like a grand comedy of life, and the spaceship's malfunctions trigger a series of hilarious events. Ryan digs in, devouring desserts until he hears someone quip, "Who planted a tree in the lobby?" By the time Jim and Ryan arrive, they unexpectedly bump into Gus, the third awakened soul. What a twist. Like Jim, Gus was awakened early due to a malfunction, and with him comes a comedy of errors. Under Gus' lead, the trio finally enters the cockpit to find they are 88 years away from the target. What a trek. The ship's systems are a mess, and Gus starts troubleshooting like he's searching for a lost pet. While checking the cryo bay, Gus quickly figures out their secret. It's like a soap opera unfolding. Jim doesn't deny it in the slightest. He's like a kid who doesn't even realize he's done something wrong. Ryan seeks Gus in the cockpit, hoping for help, but Gus is already too messed up from the sleep pod. His systems are completely fried. Gus can't even interrogate Jim like a proper judge. Gus cautiously leads them into the engineering bay, and just like that, they are on the cosmic racecourse. "Guys, take care of each other." He waves goodbye to them with a sense of responsibility, much like a deeply caring teacher. Then, he hands the highest authority wristband to Jim, as if passing on superpowers. Gus ends his short life, and the spaceship is nearing collapse. It's like a tragic play unfolding. Ryan temporarily sets aside his resentment and dashes out after Jim with swift and decisive movements, as if starring in an intense and thrilling race for your life scene. Following Gus' advice, they check for faults in the engineering bay when suddenly, a hatch opens. Talk about a jump scare. Ryan gets sucked in by the sudden vacuum, and Jim gets wedged in the door, looking like a comedic character. Finally, the oxygen inside returns slowly, but they discover that the situation is worse than they imagined. In the core area, Jim finds the reactor damaged, and the cooling chamber looks straight out of a disaster movie. Jim replaces the damaged part with a backup chip and forcefully reboots the reactor, but the cooling chamber door just won't budge. What a brainless decision. Jim decides to take down a door to try to open the cooling chamber. What could go wrong? The only way left is to manually open the hatch from outside the ship. Jim is all in. Everyone knows this could be Jim's final act, but he has no way back. He simply must go. Lynn returns to the core, ready to follow Jim, but when he reaches the hatch, he freezes. It can be opened manually. But if he lets go, it will close again, meaning Jim must become the switch and face the flames. Whether it's fate's punishment or not, Jim has to do it. He activates the magnetic lock and prepares for the big move. Faced with this choice, Lynn would rather both perish to stop it, but Jim has already made one mistake. A massive fire blast ejects Jim. Cooling chamber restarts. It's a movie climax. The ship's engine belches out blue flames, and Jim is dazzled in an instant. Timing it perfectly, he tosses the hatch and uses the recoil to escape a hair-raising moment. In this battle, Jim is thinking, "I have to save Ryan." But he dares not act, merely watching, wishing he could take him with him even as danger closes in. With nothing but farewell remaining, Ryan dashes out of the spaceship, desperately clinging to his final hope. He spots Jim floating around and bolts out. Thankfully, Jim hasn't drifted too far. Back inside, Ryan puts Jim in the mid-bay, and the computer reads, "Jim has flatlined." Ryan immediately launches all rescue protocols, like a doctor saving a patient. After a frenzy of maneuvers, Jim finally opens his eyes, basking in the light of life again. Ryan jumps up in excitement as if he's found a long-lost lover. The ship resumes its journey, and thankfully everything seems to be back on track.